Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As you see on the screen, we are here for Exodus 39. We are almost finished with Exodus, thankfully, because there's only 40 chapters of Exodus, I do believe, or something like that. So we're almost there, almost out of this neck of the woods, thank goodness. So let's go ahead and begin with this particular chapter, shall we? And of blue and purple and scarlet thread, they made garments of ministry for ministering in the holy place. So for the purpose of. That's why those garments were made. And made garments, the holy garments, which for Aaron had commanded Yahweh to Moses. Yahweh is the one that gave the order. Yahweh, again, they hear this word, Yahweh. When I hover over it, as you see, it does mean Jehovah, the existing one. So Yahweh and Jehovah is the same God, just for those who want to know. Okay? And Yahweh, all right, I'll say it again. Yahweh ordered Moses, or commanded Moses, that Moses then command Aaron and his son, Aaron's sons, to have garments made for them. And he made the ephod of gold and blue and purple and scarlet thread, and of linen fine woven. Right? It wasn't just some piece of cloth slapped together. They spent time on it. They spent detail on it. And they beat into thin sheets the gold and cut it into threads. So they turned gold into threads. Hear that? To work it in with blue and purple, and the yarn, scarlet thread, and the fine linen into designs, artistic designs. Shoulder straps they made for it. Now the ephod is a piece of clothing, and it does have shoulder straps. To couple it together at two of its edges, it was coupled together. And the intricately woven band of the ephod that was on it with the same workmanship. So all of it was the same group of workmanship. Gold and blue and purple and scarlet. And the linen of fine woven, as had commanded Yahweh to Moses. And they set onyx stones enclosed in the settings of gold. They were engraved and are engraved are signets with the names of the sons of Israel. And he put them on the shoulders of the ephod. So there's two stones, one at each shoulder. Okay. And there's, I believe it is six names of the sons of Israel, 6 tribes on one stone, 6 tribes on the other. And it was meant as a memorial stone for the sons of Israel, as had commanded Yahweh. So basically, when the high priest would go into the temple and he would go into the Holy of Holies, he would not just be representing himself, he would be representing all of Israel, because they would go in with him, figuratively speaking. And he made the breastplate woven artistically. This was a piece of, I guess, metallic cloth, I think, that would hang on their chest, like the workmanship of the ephod of gold and blue and purple, and scarlet thread and linen of fine woven. Square it by doubling, they made the breastplate. A span of its length and its shape and its width was doubled, and then set in it 4 rows of stones. A row of sardius, a row of topaz, a row of emerald, the first row. Okay, so the first row was sardius, topaz, emerald, and then the row second was turquoise, sapphire, and diamond. The row third was jacinth, agate, and amethyst, and the row fourth was beryl, and onyx, and jasper. So that's 3 each, 3, 6, 9, 12, representing the 12 tribes of Israel. Each stone represented a different tribe. And they were enclosed in the settings of gold in their mountings and stones, according to the names of the sons of Israel. were 2 and 10. Well, according to the names. So there was 12 total. Engraved like a signet, each one with its own name according to 2 and 10 tribes of Israel. They made for the breastplate the chains at the ends like cords of braided gold pure, and they made 2 settings of gold and 2 rings of gold, and they put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the breastplate, and they put 2 of the braided chains of gold in the 2 rings of the breastplate, and the 2 ends of 2 of the braided chains they fastened in 2 of the settings and put them on the shoulder straps of the ephod before the front of its face. And they made 2 rings of gold, and they put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate, on the edge of it that was on the side of the ephod inward. And they made 2 other rings, gold, and put them on the 2 of the shoulder straps of the ephod underneath, toward its front, right at the seam above the intricately woven band of the ephod. And they bound the breastplate by the means of its rings to the rings of the ephod with a cord blue, joining together, basically, so that it would be above the intricately woven band of the ephod, that not would come loose the breastplate from the ephod, as had commanded Yahweh to Moses. So, listening to God, obeying all of his commands. And he made the robe of the ephod of work woven, all blue, and there was an opening in the robe in the middle, like an opening of a coat of mail, with a woven binding, the opening all around, not so that it would tear. They made on the hem of the robe pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet, and of fine woven linen, and they made bells of gold pure, and put the bells between the pomegranates on the hem of the robe, all around between the pomegranates, a bell of the pomegranate, a bell of the pomegranate, and the pomegranate, the hem of the robe, all around, to minister in, as had commanded Yahweh to Moses. They made tunics of fine linen woven artistically for Aaron and his sons. And they made a turban of fine linen, and hats acquisite, of fine linen, and short trousers of linen, fine woven, and a sash of linen fine woven, and with blue and purple and scarlet, the work of the weaver, as had commanded Yahweh to Moses. And they made the plate of the crown holy of gold, pure, and wrote on it an inscription like the engraving of the signet, which said, Holy to Yahweh. And they tied, and that's this is telling you this was what was engraved on it, Holy to Yahweh. And they tied to it a cord blue. So what were they engraved on, right? The plate of crown of holy gold, pure. So the plate of the crown. And there was a cord blue to fasten it to the turban, so it was on their head, above, as had commanded Yahweh to Moses. Okay? Thus was finished all the work of the tabernacle, all the work of the tent of the meeting, and did the sons of Israel according to all that had commanded Yahweh to Moses. So they did. And they brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tent, and all the furnishings, its clasps, its boards, its bars, its pillars, its sockets, and the coverings of ram skins dyed red, and the covering of the skins of the badger, and the veil of the covering, that would be the veil that would be torn later, and the ark of the testimony, and with its poles, and the mercy seat, the table, all its utensils, and the bread of the presence, and the lampstand, pure gold, with its lamps, and the lamps set in order, and all its utensils, and all the oil for the light, and the altar, the gold altar, and the anointing oil, and the incense, the sweet incense, and the screen for the door as well. Tabernacle, altar, the bronze, and the grate of bronze, and its poles, and all its utensils, and the laver, and its base, the hangings of the court, its pillars, and the sockets, and the screen for gate, the court, the gate of the court, its cords and its pegs, and all of its utensils, and the service of the tabernacle for the tent of the meeting, and the garments of the ministry to the minister in the holy place, to be able to minister in the holy place, the holy garments for Aaron, the priest, the high priest, and the garments for his sons to be priests as well, according to all that had commanded Yahweh to Moses. So did the sons of Israel all the work, and looked over Moses all the work. And indeed, they had done it, as had commanded Yahweh. Just so they had done it, and blessed them Moses. So they were obedient, they listened, they did what God says, they did it right to the letter, right to the T of everything that God had said to do, and they obeyed, and so God blessed everything. Now, there's not going to be a whole lot of context for you in this, okay? As far as how it's going to apply to you, necessarily. There's not, in other words, there's not a lot of meat in this for me to pull out for you, other than the fact that when you listen to God and when you do what God says, regardless of how silly or insignificant it might seem, such as what this seems to me, this being this long and this color and that color and doing this and doing that, it might seem insignificant to me, but to God it's very big. It's important in some sort of reason. And I have to trust in that. I have to trust that there's an important reason for it outside of what I'm seeing. Just like you have to trust in God's leading, not in your own leading. In God's understanding. The understanding of God, not your understanding. Trust in that. Let Him guide you. Let Him lead you. And although in your own mind or in the mind of people it may seem foolish to do it, you still need to listen and obey Him. Because it's going to lead to some very fruitful places. Thank you guys for listening. Be blessed. And I'll see you at the next recording.